Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight's topic: are there any black fraternities and sororities outside of the Divine Nine? Are there any black fraternities and sororities outside the Divine Nine? Now, what is the Divine Nine? The Divine Nine is basically made up of the 9 largest fraternities and sororities, particularly the Black Greek letter fraternities and sororities. It's a council. It's the Pan-Hellenic Council, known as the National Pan-Hellenic Council. It's a council that each fraternity and sorority in the Divine Nine has a representative and a council, so they dictate policy regarding how fraternities and sororities are supposed to use to conduct themselves, such as policies on no hazing. It used to be called the Elite Eight until 1997, when the Iota Phi Theta fraternity, founded at Morgan State University in 1963, joined the Elite Eight to become the Divine Nine. Now, the question has always surrounded individuals: are there any other fraternities that you can join without going through the red tape of one of the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities? And the answer is yes. They're smaller fraternities, but they really have a no hazing clause. Now, the fraternities and sororities of the Divine Nine are as follows. You have, for the fraternities, the Omega Psi Phi, the Alpha Phi Alpha, the Kappa Alpha Psi, or Phi Nu Pi, Phi Beta Sigma, and Iota Phi Theta. Your sororities, your Delta Sigma Theta, your Alpha Kappa Alpha, known as your AKAs, Sigma Gamma Rho, and your Zeta Phi Beta. With the exception of the Iota Phi Theta, the other 8 are 93 to over 100 years old. The Sigma Gamma Rho was founded at Butler University in 1923, so that would make them 93 years old. So your older and bigger fraternities are in the Divine Nine. Now, that being said, if you're interested in joining a fraternity and sorority, yes, there are organizations, and I'm talking about Black Greek letter organizations that are outside the Divine Nine. Let me give you an example of one. I'm a member of one. It's called Phi Eta Psi. That would be the 6th largest fraternity after the Iota Phi Theta. Now, my fraternity was founded April 8th, 1965 at Mott Community College in Flint, Michigan. In fact, my fraternity is the only fraternity that was founded at a community college. Most of the other fraternities were founded at Indiana University, Butler University, Howard University. But the fraternities that you can join, and I would definitely, if you're interested in becoming a member of a Black Greek letter organization, look into some of those fraternities, because you have a better chance of getting into leadership. Now, let me give you some of the fraternities and sororities and their websites. You can always look up the websites, but they serve the same type of cause as the larger fraternities. Just because something is larger doesn't mean that it's better. The only difference is the larger fraternities have been around longer and they have more members. But with more members, okay, you have more dues, more red tape, very difficult to get into the leadership positions. Now, they are known for their reputation because they came up when African Americans could not get into any fraternities and sororities that were Caucasian. And most of the older fraternities and sororities that are African American were founded at HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. Now, you have to ask yourself this: what would you want to do in a fraternity? Because I did a video yesterday that talked about, are Black Greek letter organizations relevant? Yes, they are relevant. In fact, they're going to get even more relevant. And the opportunity to join one of the smaller fraternities will give you an added advantage because you're getting an idea of how an organization works, and you can help expand the organization to different schools. You could be a founding father. You could be a regional officer. Moving on. Let me name you some of these Black Greek letter organizations that are not under the Divine Nine. I just named you my fraternity, Phi Eta Psi. Now, there was another one founded in Philadelphia, and actually this is the oldest fraternity that's African American and nobody knows about it. The name of it is Sigma Pi Phi. That was founded in 1903 in Philadelphia. Then you have Wine Psi Phi. You have Phi Delta Psi, which is also a Midwest fraternity. You have Nu Gamma Alpha. You have Sigma Phi Rho. You have Alpha Psi Chi, Beta Phi Pi, Nu Gamma Psi. Then you have Phi Rho Eta, Phi Omicron Psi, which was founded in 1986 at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. Then you have Gamma Phi Eta, Pi Psi, Alpha Nu Omega. You have Gamma Alpha Chi, Kappa Psi Omega. These are all black fraternities and sororities outside the Divine Nine. You also have Gamma Phi Delta, Nu Phi Psi, Gamma Phi Omega, and Delta Omega Chi. You can look all those fraternities up on the internet, and trust me, they will take you in. They're young, their brothers are hungry, they need more brothers to help expand their organization to different schools so you could be part of a Black Greek letter organization. Now, some of your sororities. You have Eta Gamma Pi, you have Gamma Eta Pi, then you have Xi Delta Chi, you have Nu Omega Psi, Alpha Beta Sigma, Alpha Chi Gamma, Gamma Psi Omega. You have Chi Psi Eta. You have Omicron Alpha Psi. You have Kappa Phi Iota, and then you have Gamma Phi Psi. I just gave you approximately 22 Black Greek letter organizations outside the Divine Nine. Again, they have their membership dues, they have websites, they're incorporated, they're very new fraternities and sororities, and you have to give it to some of these individuals because they probably got these fraternities in place when they couldn't get in the Divine Nine. See, the Divine Nine has been around for, with the exception of the Iota Phi Theta for over 100 years. So their platform and their ideology is a little different. The newer ones are basically keeping up with times, such as technology and issues. And I've looked at the websites. They talk about integrity, community service, just like the older ones do. They talk about chapters, graduate chapters, founding fathers. They have organizations set up just like the larger ones. The only difference is that they're smaller. Now, that being said, because they're smaller, doesn't make them less relevant. If you ask anybody from the Divine Nine, they're going to say, nobody's better than we are. And that's not true. When we seek out a fraternity or sorority, we have it embedded in us that the Divine Nine fraternities and sororities are the only ones out there. See, when you do your investigation, like I did, you will find that you can get into a lot of Black Greek letter organizations. Now, some of these organizations are also music organizations. Not these, but you do have Christian organizations as well. They're Greek letter. Now, you have some like Swing Phi Swing, Groove Phi Groove. They're social organizations, which I know Groove Phi Groove, it's Groove Phi Groove. They were founded Morgan State University. They pledge like a fraternity, but they're not a Greek letter organization. It's basically a social club or social organization for males. And then Swing Phi Swing was founded down in the South, and that's a female organization. But be that as it may, those are also good organizations to join, because basically what the fraternities and sororities are supposed to do, they're supposed to give you that networking ability, scholarships, again, community service, mentoring, tutoring. You even get the reputation, if you are a professor or an athlete, to promote the fraternity and sorority. If you look at a lot of our Black leaders, Jesse Jackson, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're in fraternities. They're good organizations, no matter how big or how small. What you need to understand when you get into a fraternity or a sorority, you have to realize that it's a commitment. It's supposed to be a brotherhood. And you have to look at all of the fraternities and sororities to see what is a best fit for you. Because each and every fraternity, although it has some commonalities, there are some differences on leadership, ideology. But being that it is May, you still have to pay your dues. You still have to look at the numbers, find out where all the money is going. But the biggest thing you want to find out is, what about the hazing policy? I wanted to get to that. Because you see that the larger fraternities under the Divine Nine, okay, in order to even be a fraternity and be part of the Divine Nine, you must have 50 chapters. That means it could come from graduate or undergraduate chapters. A lot of these smaller fraternities aren't in any type of council like the NIC, which is the North American Intra-Fraternal Council, or under any other type of council. Now, I always believe that if you form a conglomerate, you can actually expand your brand to different schools. See, my fraternity is independent. The rest of these fraternities are independent. But in order for them to grow, of course, with all the red tape, you have to be in some type of conference. It takes paperwork. Cost, depending on what organization or umbrella conference you're trying to get in, it could be $25 to $525. But basically, when you join any fraternity, you have, or sorority, You have initiation dues. You have yearly dues. And your initiation dues or fee you only pay one time. But you do pay yearly dues. Now, if you're in a chapter, you're going to pay chapter dues. Your chapter has to pay its fees. And then you have to pay national dues. And with fraternities and sororities, any of them, you have small conferences known as conclaves, and then you have conventions. That's when everybody from the nation gets together and they have speakers, they have different regional officers come up, give you information on what's going on in their region. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the size of your fraternity or sorority. You just have to make sure that they're active, because even with the Divine Nine, with all the hazing problems that they've had, you have some campuses that there are no members of the Divine Nine who are active. So a small fraternity could actually take advantage. Just don't have the no hazing, just don't have the hazing clause in it. Well, you have to have the clause of no hazing, no hazing. Because that's really what scares a lot of people away. I mean, there have been people who have actually died from hazing incidents with fraternities. And this is why fraternities have to have a lot of insurance. And fraternities are also incorporated as well. It's a business. But if you're seeking a Black Greek letter organization, just see if it's what you want to do. Because fraternities aren't for everybody, and sororities aren't for everybody. But to me, if you want that brotherhood or sisterhood, or that networking ability, you're community focused, and you're into leadership, I would prefer the smaller fraternities and sororities. And here's what you can do. If you contact members of the smaller fraternities, you can have an umbrella organization. That would make a lot of sense, because a lot of these smaller ones are not going to be able to get into the Divine Nine. And plus, the Divine Nine has its tradition as well. I mean, the bigger, the best fraternities, the older fraternities. So it's going to be problematic for some of these smaller entities which don't have enough members. If you look at the Divine Nine, they not only have a national presence, but they have an international presence, where these smaller ones have a regional presence. They say national, but most of them haven't expanded nationally. Now, you have brothers and sisters who are part of these organizations who live all over the United States, but they may not be actively involved with their Greek letter organizations, but they can do it. In fact, if I go to a school, because I'm a member of Phi Eta Psi, and it's just me, I haven't formed a chapter, but I'm what you call a colony. Because to form a chapter, you have to go by the school's rules, which they mean this. You have to have at least 5 active members to form an organization. If you have one, you're a colony. So every school that I go to, I'm one person who's representative of Phi Eta Psi. I'm known as a colony. But I'm going to tell you from yesterday, Black Greek letter organizations are still relevant. Don't let anybody fool you. But I've just given you more information so you can actually look some of these fraternities and sororities up yourself on the internet, because you don't have to be part of the Divine Nine fraternities to be a Greek. As long as you have integrity, as long as you're leadership focused, you keep your grades up. And by the way, the smaller non-Divine Nine fraternities, they have graduate and undergraduate chapters as well. In fact, again, with our fraternity, Phi Psi, we can even form a chapter at a community college. We can even be an at-large brother, which means we don't have to be affiliated with any college at all, just have a degree. I was an at-large brother, and I did my pledging in Flint, Michigan when I lived in Pennsylvania in 2010. But either way, I believe that every African American who's going to college should be affiliated with an organization, whether it's a fraternity and sorority or a business fraternity. Because for us, it's a lot easier for us to get our names out there to find out who's affiliated with organizations so we can network. Because the strategy today is about economics. Yes, we have racism, and we're always going to have racism. But the older Divine Nine fraternities, they went down that road with the civil rights. What we need to fight for now is to maintain the policy so we don't get caught up in racism. Because racism is not about color. It's about policy that's written to keep certain minority groups from participating in the political, social, and economic process to enjoy a standard of living that the power structure has. That's what racism is. Because in some countries, if I was black and I had all the power and a white man didn't have power, that would also be racism. But it's the majority who controls the resources. But I digress. But with fraternities and sororities, they're all good organizations. But I just wanted to point out that there are organizations outside of the Divine Nine that you didn't know about. And now when you look at this video, you can take notes. And if you have a son or a daughter, or you are interested in a fraternity or sorority, look these fraternities and sororities up. And if it's what you want, make that connection. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for Christmas Day. And Merry Christmas to all. Sunday, December 25th, 2016. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show it's every Wednesday now. Every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. It was on Saturdays, and I may move it back to Saturday. That just depends on the amount of guests I'm getting on my radio show. But right now, you can tune into the 411 Talk Zone radio show every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest calling number is 215-383-5785. Now, if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show channel on YouTube so I can keep giving you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on my channel, I do not engage in emotional or controversial topics, nor do I participate in drama or unnecessary bickering. So please be respectful and positive. My channel is strictly to give you educational information because knowledge is power. And if you have a business or topic that you would like for me to discuss on Blog Talk Radio or YouTube, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. Please feel free to comment. Leave it in the comments section, but you have to make sure that your comments are pithy, no bloviating or pettifogging, if you wish to opine. And that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Please remember to be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed evening. Good night.